Alright folks, today I'm going to make some apple pie, packable apple pie, gluten-free, single serve. This is my pie dish. This is it's heavy, but it still is packable for me in my canoe. I have 2 apples, which I'm going to pare and quarter, and then in here I have my pie crust. It's a half a cup of rice flour, a half a cup of Bob's red mill. Now you can use other flours. You could use garbanzo bean, or you could use a mix. There's an assortment of different flours out there you can use. And then I have a third of a cup Crisco. And then I have some little bit of sugar and cinnamon mixture here. And I'm going to have probably about a tablespoon or so of butter. That's just to throw in something that I was able to carry in, but normally you couldn't carry that in. It's not going to be shelf stable enough, so we could do without it if we have to. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine our ingredients together and get things ready to go, and we're going to set our 180 stove with our reflector oven hood in front of the campfire. I got a pretty cool campfire going, and we're going to see how it comes out. So first I'm going to unpack everything. And I pack some gloves in here. This way I don't, because it's gluten-free, I don't want to cross-contaminate anything. But also I just want to be able to combine my materials all in my packing container. So we're going to get this flour and this mixture in here. This has all been pre-measured. And here's our Crisco. And that's pre-measured. Bug fly in there. And we're going to mix it up till it gets lumpy. Alright, we got some good lumpy going on here. Okay, I'm going to add some water to it. And this will be our pie crust. Alright, so I'm going to grease up my pie dish. And we're going to reserve this little piece of butter that I had thrown in there off to the side. Okay, we mixed up our pie dough, and we're going to split that a little bit up, and I'm just going to kind of make myself a pie crust. Now the gluten-free likes to break apart, so we're going to try to lie it in here and then kind of just press it into place, because the gluten-free will break apart. It's not like a regular pie crust where you can cut it out and shape it. You pretty much have to press it into place. And we're just rounding it about. It's almost going to come out like a cobbler, but it will be a miniature sized apple pie. And there's the beginning works of our apple pie, and this one will be for our top crust. So we're going to get our apples ready and then add our apples and then make the top of our pie crust. Alright, so we have 2 apples cut up here. Now we're going to add them into our pie shell. I'm going to break them up a little bit. And 2 apples, it's just kind of rough figuring. 1 wouldn't be enough and 2 might be too much. So we're going to add these, and then we're going to add our cinnamon sugar and our butter, and then we'll make the top to our crust and it will be ready to go in front of our fire. So that's just about looking where we want it. Maybe a few more apples. Okay, there's the top of our, now this is our cinnamon sugar mixture, which I had out and put in a cup to make it easier. We're going to add this to the top. Generous portion. I would say that's about enough. I would say that's about 3 to 4 tablespoons roughly. And here's a little bit of our butter, which we'll place on the top too. So there we have some butter, and then we're going to make our pie crust. So we'll be right back in a minute. Alright, here's our single serve, gluten-free, packable apple pie. Now you can use dehydrated apples and reconstitute them also, but today we're going to use fresh apples. And I just have a couple slits I'm going to put in the top as vents. Let the apple pie vent. There's a good one right there along the side. And there we have it. The apple pie is made, and we're going to get it set right in front of the fire, and we'll be right back. Get the bacon. Alright, so we got a pretty cool hearth we're using. We're using like an old chimney style hearth today for our fire. We got our 180 set up, our pie's in there, we got our campfire going. So I'm going to bring it around front and give you guys a front view. Alright, here's a little bit of a sneak of a front view. Our pie cooking in the 180, reflector oven hood on, in this cool old fireplace chimney style hearth. It's pretty cool. We got a pretty good roar here. I think this hearth is probably built back in the 30s, so it's got quite some time behind it. So we're going to let it go for a while and see how it goes. Probably about 45 minutes to an hour. It's an hour and 15 minutes. We're going to play. So our fire is really roaring. I had to back the stove, the reflector oven, away from that fire because the one side of our crust was actually starting to burn a little bit. So we backed it off a little bit, and we should be good still. Heat control. Alright folks, so the apple pie's in the reflector oven, and we've been out for about 20 to 25 minutes, and the apples are really starting to boil. I don't think it's going to take quite as long. I got quite a hot fire going on. I backed off the 180 right off from the fire quite a ways now because it's just getting plenty of heat. I did burn the one side within like the first 5 minutes. I had it a little bit too close, but it's alright. I mean, it's live and learn. But I think this is, for a fire like this is about the right distance I want it. And I don't think it's going to be too much longer, and this pie is going to be done. So stay with me, and we're going to give it a few more minutes, and then we're going to pull this pie. And it's really starting to rain hard too, so I want to hopefully it gets finished up right off here, so we don't end up with a lot of ash on our pie from the rain. Okay, the pie is pulled. Stay with me. The pie is pulled and it's done. Probably around 25 minutes or so. The single serve, gluten-free, packable apple pie, cooked in a 180 stove with a homemade reflector oven hood. So everything was self-contained and packable, and it came out pretty good. We had our pie a little bit too close to the fire at first, and we ended up with a little bit of a burn right here. But other than that, we backed it off and let it set, and it started to boil out, and we ran a fork through to test our apples, and everything seems good. So we're gonna try it out a little bit later on, see how it tastes. But it looks good. Single serve. Apple pie.